Hello, lovely people. Viv going live from York. Um, yeah, I've been doing some interesting stuff with my daughter. We've discovered that she's quite empathic, so she picks up on other people's sort of feelings and sort of can't quite differentiate which are hers and which are theirs, and it confuses her and stuff. So I've been doing some sort of thought feeling things with her, and I just thought I'd share some of the stuff that we've been doing. We've only just started looking at using some CBT stuff because obviously it's very structured, and that's quite good for her to have some very definite rules and stuff whilst we're starting looking at all these things. So I've been using some non-violent communications. They have non-violent communication has some very good sort of lists of feelings and thoughts and feelings and needs. So they've got quite a good framework when you're trying to explain how you're feeling about something and not putting that you've made me feel this, but said I feel this and these, oh, this is what I need. So for her, that's been quite a good thing along with the CBT we've been doing, and it took me back to some of the stuff I used to do with the kids when they were little. So obviously that thing of I think I've said this in a live before, that thing of pointing at someone going they're annoying, and I've always tried to explain to my children, can you separate that from the person? Then, well, they are annoying, but can we have that the behaviour they're exhibiting at this moment is annoying, and taking that away from the person, because otherwise you're labelling a person as something, and that's not very helpful to them or to you. And sort of what I've been doing with her is you feel anxious, not that you are anxious, because obviously that's time bound. It means you're feeling anxious at the moment and there's something we can do about that, not that you're an anxious person all the time, because that makes it really difficult for someone to think that they can change, and it starts labelling you. And the more that you tell yourself you're an anxious person or any sort of emotion like that, if it's causing you issues, then labelling yourself as that is going to keep you stuck in that pattern. So what I liked about the CBT stuff we were looking at, similar to what I was saying about separating the person from their actions, is it suggests that you put those feelings, if you're struggling with feelings, putting those feelings to one side. So, for example, anxiety made me feel stupid in front of my friends rather than I was stupid in front of my friends. So for someone like my daughter, who sometimes picks up on other people's feelings and therefore gets very confused, she sometimes doesn't know quite where to put her thoughts and feelings, and she can feel like she's saying silly things because she's really confused about the emotions that she's picking up from other people. So for her, we can say stuff like, my confusion or my feeling empathic made me say silly things, rather than I said silly things and I'm a silly person. So yeah, I just thought I'd share some of those, and we've put it together with the idea of reframing, which is why I thought if anybody liked the picture of the massive pumpkin. It was massive, and I wanted to take a picture of it, and I thought, well, you're not going to know how massive it is because there's no perspective, which is why I made all my family run round the back of the thing so I could take a picture so you could all see how massive the pumpkin was. So we've tried to put that together with the idea of reframing, so that reframing is sort of acknowledging that you're looking through a very specific lens when you're looking at stuff, and realising that you can make that lens bigger or actually smaller. But what we've been doing is trying to pan out and actually see a bigger view of stuff. So the idea of things like loneliness makes me feel jealous. We've added in the NVC thing of, if you're feeling lonely and you're feeling jealous, what are the needs behind that? What do you need to get over those feelings? So you could maybe put in, I need acceptance. So panning out, so saying loneliness makes me feel jealous, and that jealousy made me do those things. So rather than I'm a jealous person or I'm lonely all the time, you're taking that away and saying loneliness made me feel those things, not that I am those things. But also we're now adding in the NVC needs thing that says, what is it that you're wanting? Why are you feeling, what does that loneliness and that jealousy mean that you're missing out on? So we've put in that extra step, sort of panned out and gone, so how can we help with that? So the idea of needing acceptance, and what I've liked with that, and what Indy really liked as well, is the idea that if you can label what you need, you can then put in place how you're going to get that. And the easiest way we found, obviously, is with the oils. So that's a really simple way of finding an oil you can use to help with that. And the lovely thing about this is you can look at the things that you maybe don't want and you're struggling with versus the things that you do want. So that gives you, like with that, the loneliness makes me feel jealous, and the feeling behind that is I need acceptance. To get rid of the loneliness, you could use something like cedarwood, and to bring in the acceptance, you could use something like bergamot, for example. So then you've got two oils that you could use, which is always nice, because if you don't like the smell of one of them, hopefully you will like the smell of the other one. So I really liked that idea of reframing, panning out, and actually looking behind the emotions. So taking the emotions out and saying, I'm not a stupid person, I just felt stupid in that thing, and why was that? But also adding in, what do you need? What are your needs behind that? What are you missing that would help with making you feel better as a person? And then taking those needs and putting in some essential oils. So I got some really good ones here with reframing jealousy of my friends' friendships. So an idea is you could look at how your friend interacts and pick up some tips on communication and compassion. So you've got that addition there. But on top of that, you could look at what oil is going to help you not feel jealous, and maybe acknowledge that that jealousy is because there's also a need behind that, and you could add in that as well. Or, you know, if you're overwhelmed by your social life, you can reframe it and go, well, I've got lots of friends and exciting things I do, but maybe I need to take a step back and decide which engagements I want to keep hold of. And holding your boundaries, tangerine would be a really good oil to use for that. So that idea of not naming yourself as your emotions, realizing they are passing things, and if you get stuck in one, there's a way that you can detach from that. But also essential oils, and obviously there's going to be other things that can help with that, but our big one is essential oils, because we've got those, and I love the immediacy of being able to smell a bottle of something and know that it's getting my brain better in a very quick way. But obviously even the idea of dissociating yourself from your feelings and not labeling yourself as these things, and reframing, panning out, and maybe looking at why, what are you missing that you need more of, and then taking that forward so that you can feel more empowered about where you're going. So I just thought I'd share some of those things with you, because that's what I've been doing with my daughter. And obviously the lovely thing about doing that is I'm actually learning some stuff as well, which is why I'm sharing it with you. And it's really helped me with that idea, especially those things that emotions are time bound. So labeling somebody as an emotion, oh, that person's annoying, or that person's always anxious, or that person's always that, isn't helpful. And making those things time bound, and accepting that somebody can be emotional, that we all have emotions, but that doesn't mean that we are that thing. And then looking at the needs behind that, I just thought I would share that we found that really useful. I'll put some links in about the NVC thing, the non-violent communication, if you like the idea of using the feelings cards and the needs cards. There's some really nice stuff out there. We've used a very slimmed down version, because obviously I'm using it with my daughter and I don't want to overwhelm her with loads of emotions, but it's a really nice way of looking what feelings am I having, and what needs are maybe behind that, and then I can look at, am I getting my needs met? So I'll post some of that in the comments below. If you want to share this with anybody, feel free. If you want to know a bit more about the oils, always get in touch with me. You know, I love talking about oils. And if you'd like to know a bit more about anything else, obviously just touch base with me. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.